No, I'm not filming this out of order. The last time we spoke, it was 40, it was sunny. Welcome to Michigan. A few hours after I did that video, suddenly on my cell phone, that thing on which I am speaking at currently, I received the red alert warning, winter storm warning. Yep, got dumped on about a foot of wet spring snow. And March snow is the suckiest snow of all times. If you're the type of person that, say, thinks that it's best to lease a car, get a brand new shiny clean car every 2 years, then this is not the video for you, because I am not of that mind. Nor are a lot of you. And so I'm gonna spew some words into the clouds and the ethernets. Maybe it'll stick. But I'm going through, I'm a troll. I'm a horrible troll. I'm surprised I don't have people following me to my channel and just making the rottenest comments. I have to. I'm commenting. I'm saving the world. Giving the world sage advice. Everything from Portland to new vehicles. Can't keep my mouth shut. But what I see a lot, it's like the 2023, whatever, pickup truck or the new car. You go through all these reviews, and some of them are pathetic. I mean, seriously, they're pathetic. That's a tracks underneath that snow, and you know, I don't care. It gets me from point A to point B. I'm really good with maintenance. I don't drive it hard. If I have to change the turbocharger, it'll cost me about $600 because I'm going to do it myself. You know, it goes through the snow pretty good. Not the most comfortable thing, not stylish, whatever. But I'm looking at the 2024 Chevy Trax reviews. And now they're going to a three-cylinder engine, and a front-wheel drive. And I do believe one of the lower trim levels has a CVT. Auto engineers, if you're listening, haven't you learned by now that a CVT, especially one where you say it's got a sealed transmission and the transmission fluid is good for life, haven't you concluded by now that that's not a good idea? Nissan. But you go to a lot of these videos that are reviewing the new vehicles, and they'll walk around. It's stylish. I love the new bumper and the grills, and it's got that lean, this is in the case of the Trax, it's got that trailblazer look, and it's lower. And it looks so much more aerodynamic. And it looks longer. And then they open the hood. It's got a three-cylinder engine. Slam it down, and that's it. They go in time. It's got a 42-inch touchscreen. It thinks for itself. It can stop and start all the time, even when you're driving down the road. That'll help fuel mileage. You know, if it sees a leaf pile on the side of the road, it's not going to let you hit it. It's going to slam on the brakes by itself. You don't even need to know how to parallel park anymore. You push a button. You don't even need to be able to recognize roads on a map. It'll just tell you, turn left in 50 feet. Turn right in 75 feet. If you're tailgating, I don't tailgate, you know, slam on the brakes. If you have to avoid a deer, it's going to fight you because it wants to stay in that lane no matter. We don't need that stuff. Who cares, you know? The best way to review a vehicle would be to open that hood and leave it open for a while. I don't really care for that because the intake manifold is plastic. This part is plastic. That part is plastic. That little turbocharger has a terribly thin feed line for oil, and it's going to burn up in 65,000 miles. But even though we've left the realm of reason in the 2020s and no one cares, I'm just going to trade my car in every 2 years. You still get those comments when they're talking about, I've had my 2024 Trax or my 2021 Silverado or whatever. It's got 33,000 miles and so far it's been reliable. My car has 80,000. I just hit 65,000 and it's been a great car. It's like, at those low mileages, the car shouldn't even be broken in yet, folks. We're talking 130,000 miles on that truck. It runs like new. It drives like new. Every single one of the fluids has been changed, as you heard me. But yeah, so I'm doing some research here. I'll probably be trading that truck in 20 years if it doesn't rust apart. I live in Michigan. The plow truck just went by, spreading that lovely salt all over everything. You know, so what do? I tried, this is a handy tip. You go to Eastwood, they have rust converter, the spray can, and I also bought this nozzly thing. You stick it on the thing and it sprays so you can get into the cubbies like the rocker panels. Rocker panels. You know, and they also have rust encapsulator. I cannot review the rust converter, but I used 2 cans just on my, basically the only rust on that truck. You see that the inner fenders are still intact, solid steel. It's just the rocker panels and like one little tiny spot on the tailgate, which, by the way, another slam, I'm trolling. I don't need to push a button and have the tailgate do this on its own. I've always said if you can't pull the latch and lower the tailgate yourself, why do you need a truck? You obviously can't load lumber in there for yourself or 80-pound sacks of concrete or furniture. Now, I certainly don't want the tailgate to like turn in the steps like a GoBot. Just more crap to break. But anyway, the Eastwood rust encapsulator offered 0 protection. It was a complete waste of money in my case. Maybe I live in the outer limits or the truck is made out of some different alloy. But in my experience, from what I saw, even though I washed it really well, cleaned it, like as best as I could, wire brushed, sanded, left a little rust there, came right back within a month. The rust encapsulator, in my opinion, it was a garbage buy. Not worth it. Maybe I should have hit it with converter first, but that would have doubled the price. So I'm thinking there's other ways. And I've been doing a little research. I will try, and I've been watching different people actually reviewing things. Lanolin is a good thing. You know, sheep hair oil, sheep grease. But I'm going to try, because I'm a woodworker, linseed oil. Get a gallon of linseed oil or 2. Get some kind of spraying device. And just the next day, when the roads are dry, and I get a chance, it's warm enough to take it to the car wash, and just utterly spray the heck out of the undercarriage, the frame, everything. Just wet that down with linseed oil. But here's the thing. There are linseed oil, and there are boiled linseed oil. And I've got deer looking at me right there. I don't know which one would be better. See, the boiled linseed oil has some drying agents in it, and it's been boiled. And so it actually will form a hardish surface, where the plain old linseed oil would take, what, 5 years to fully dry, if that? I am thinking, in my suspicious little noggin, that probably the linseed oil without the drying agents would be the best. Because if you have a dry coating under there, it can chip. You've got exposed metal, where the wet stuff kind of just flows and is just kind of gooey. It seems like it would be a mess. You know, then it turns Michigan again. And then you get junk on it sticking to it. But I would rather, I guess, have a messy underside and the messy what I have left of my rocker panels than having them continue to rust. You know, that's, in my estimation, the rust is the killer of this thing. I don't need to worry about the engine blowing up or anything like that. I'm sure it will eventually. It'll have to be redone. You know, it does the timing chain and all that other good stuff. Not going to get into that. But you know what? That old Ellis-based engine, there's probably 500 trillion of those things floating around. I could probably get a crate engine for that thing, you know, or just take the old one out, put it in an envelope, seal it up, pop it in the mailbox, and use that core or the engine or whatever, you know, to offset getting a rebuilt engine. You know, it sure beats the heck. Look at this. Look at this. What is the price of a new Silverado now? More every month than my mortgage. I'm going to be crass, and I'm going to tell you, my mortgage is under $1,000 a month. What would the truck payment on a new Silverado be? $1,500 a month? We are looking at the greatest wastes of money here. Not that my cars are a waste of money, but analyze your bills. Analyze your expenditures. If you're modest means and you don't go on African safaris and you don't go skiing at Vail and all this, eat at fancy 5-star restaurants every day, this represents the biggest danger to your retirement, especially if you don't have like millions of dollars or really fat 401ks or pensions and stuff. You look at this stuff. Now I wonder, as a 62-year-old person who all I've got is Social Security in my savings, if I had not been of the mind to trade the cars in, this is like the third in a series here, bought new, made the payments, if I had just stuck with my old Sierra pickup truck, instead of being talked into buying a new car, that Sierra pickup truck I owed when I traded it in like $1,500 on it, bought it used. It bothers me to no end to know that in this case, $320, the previous one like $305, and then the one before that probably about $300, and this is over a course of years. I could have put that in the savings instead of just settling for a good old used car and not having a payment. Cars are the biggest danger to your retirement if you're not of means. Freaking cars. And I'd like to go back in time and tell the younger John, just drive an old hoopty. You know, this notion of like, well, it's under warranty, you're not going to nickel and dime yourself. You know what? If you get a decent, if you shop smart, young people, if you shop smart and you don't get some delicate, horrible car, you know, that is going to blow up in 80,000 miles, but one that can last over 300,000 miles, you know, how many nickels and dimes are in a car payment or a truck payment of $1,500 a month? Every single month for years. Could have bought that truck. I wrote a check for less than $7,000 for it, I believe, or something. I forget, but it was way under $10,000. How many of those trucks could I have bought instead of buying a brand new Silverado with a 4-cylinder turbo? How many? And forget, like, well, anyway, it's turning into a rant. Linseed oil is the big point here. The young people, don't be wooed into, like, it's got a beautiful grill, it's streamlined, it looks sleek, it can go from 0 to 60 in under a second. On roads with speed limits. Think about the future. Anyway, that's all. I'm done. I'm going to shovel snow? Oh, hell no. It's like late March. I'm done with shoveling snow and blowing snow. I'm just going to put it in 4-wheel drive and just drive through whatever happens. We're about done, right? This is the end of winter. I've said that like 50 times this year.